Thanks indeed for staying with us. A wonderful super Monday morning, the first Monday in the month of August 2021, August 2nd. We would be looking at something that many persons may not be finding a bit funny. That's the issue surrounding one of the nation's finest police officer, DCP, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. For those who have followed Abba Kyari very closely, he was at one time honored by the House of Representatives, where they stood down plenary and actually give him this eulogy for a full day, and many are still watching closely how the event is unfolding. Yesterday, we saw some barrage, if I will use that word now, of press releases. The earlier one coming from the IGP himself, saying that he recommends that DCP Abba Kyari be suspended to give room for clear, cut, and plain investigation. While in the evening, towards the evening, about 3-4, the Police Service Commission issued a statement saying that as far as they are concerned, they are suspending DCP Abba Kyari and asking the IGP to furnish them with all details. Now, the issue of Abba Kyari came a little bit more controversial when a Hush Puppies report got to the media. At first it was social media, later on it got to the conventional media, that the FBI from the US wants Abba Kyari to answer question over what he allegedly received from Hush Puppy, the alleged internet fraudster now, maybe what the internet fraudster or whatever it is. So let's look at the implication of the suspension of Abba Kyari, one fine officer who is currently at the center of the corruption storm. With me this morning, Mr. Wale Oloko, public policy analyst. You're welcome to our studio, sir.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
For some of us who had followed Abba Kyari, his exploit and others here, let's start off first. How did you receive the news?
Thank you. I feel but for you asking, I think the hysteria, pandemonium or hulabaloo about the request for the arrest, as far as I'm concerned, is shouldn't be something that we should waste too much time on, and because there have been arrests, there have been extradition, and have been requests by the United States. For example, in 2013, Baba Femi was extradited to the US for supporting Al Qaeda in the peninsula. In 2018 or thereabouts, some 6 Nigerians were extradited from South Africa. So also a Nigerian too was extradited. So we have been having this kind of requests for extradition and so on and so forth. But the one of yes, that's why I want to mention again that the one for he was also being sought by the US, but he went to court, and then he was able to hide under the canopy of the court, and then until he died. So what I'm saying in essence is this: we should not let this one be a kind of distraction. We have much bigger problems on our hands, and then this issue of his request for to be arrested and then be taken to the US would not solve some of our problems. The children kidnapped in Niger State are still there. They're still with the bandits. The roads from Lagos to Eleko Ekpe road is still there. It's not going to help. And then the what you call prices of food items are also there. But of course, like you mentioned, it's been discussed. But for me, I think when you have this kind of thing, when the United States Department of Justice, they have a release and they unseal this kind of case, they always have it there. All the charges and accusations remains accusations. The person being talked about, I mean the subject of that case, is presumed innocent until found guilty. So that should be paramount in our mind. We should not, at this stage, talk about Abba Kyari as if he's been convicted. No, the trial is not there yet. But everybody is concerned because you mentioned is referred to as a super cop, and that has been rewarded severally. But I think that's just one of the problems you face. One is either that there is no code of conduct in the police force, or the training received, perhaps at fault, or the guy himself is not smart, or the combination of all. We can't imagine somebody who is a deputy commissioner of police, I guess, who must have gone through a lot of trainings, and he will become an Instagram superstar, so that somebody who is somewhere else will now have to start contacting him. Let us not throw him under the bus yet, but it's a reflection. We should hold Nigerian police force responsible, the leadership. After all, he has always been in the news. He has always been on Instagram. Does it mean they don't have a code of conduct in the police? Does it mean there is no section in the Nigerian police force to say, no, this is not how to go about doing things? Here is somebody who at the time was the head of anti-robbery squad. And he could have been attacked by anybody. And yet, all over the news, in the newspapers, and then this thing. And don't forget, in that unsealed indictment, they put the picture of his office, that they found it online, to the fact that they are able to even get his nameplate. So he put himself for them to be able to say. So it's an unfortunate situation. But of course, let us just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let us not throw him under the bus yet. But I still hold the Nigerian police force responsible.
Let's go back. We'll come back to that one here. Let's look at the issue of some of the argument of extradition here. There have been so much complaint that one of the countries that don't extradite its own persons, its citizen, is the U.S. You hardly find anyone who commits crime there allowed to go out. Sometimes when they even have cases of some countries accusing their citizens of whatever, they stood in the defense and even insist that the person be brought home to face justice.
Mr. Cha, do you have any record in the Ministry of Justice where you've asked that a U.S. citizen be extradited to Nigeria and they refused? There's none.
But have we ever tried?
We've never tried, that's what I'm saying. But have they committed any crime that will require the citizen of the United States to be brought back to Nigeria? So that is it. In fact, in 2009, the State Department, which is their own foreign affairs ministry, complained that Nigeria was not assisting, was not even giving enough attention to the several requests made by the US. Apparently, that could be the reason why there was an uptick in the extradition from 2013 until 2018, 2019, and so on and so forth. So the issue is not whether the US will extradite or will not extradite, but do you have a reason for any of their citizens to be called upon to come and answer a query here? No. What they have now is saying is that we want this gentleman in the US. What we can advise is allow the gentleman to go and defend himself. Give him enough good lawyers. In fact, it may be a ruse. Maybe there is not even fact in what we are saying. Maybe the man is even innocent, but it's only the court that will be able to determine whether he's guilty or not. So until then, give him the benefit of the doubt, and then the Nigerian government should support him to the extent that the Nigerian missions in US will be able to provide necessary consular assistance. Because when you have this kind of case, it's not impossible that they will give him bail until they're able to finish the case. So while still in US, they'll be able to do that. But I feel that for now, we should just allow the gentleman to have his peace. And then, although people have been asking that he should be suspended in the first place since that case came up, at least the IG has now responded. He has recommended to the Police Service Commission, and the Police Service Commission has taken it up from there.
So for now, when we look at this now, the suspension now, what will be the next step? Some people are already alleging that it may drag on for so long, the way it is. Some are alleging that the report may come out on time. Some are alleging that it may just be a drama, that once the interest die off the media, everyone looks the other way. Even the other Chidima lady who was alleged to have killed somebody, after the media talk, it appears we are off the hook.
Mr. Atta,
no court cases.
I wrote a piece on the issue of media trial. I think sometimes immediately after that case of Chidima, that we should be able to stop the media trial by the police. Luckily, the Lagos State House of Assembly passed a bill, a law. So now the government is yet to assent to that, so that they will be able to stop the media trial. It will be interesting now to find that somebody like Abba Kyari, whether they will be able to now put him to the press and allow the press to start arguing. Why not give him the same opportunity so that he can talk to the press? But what we are going to learn from what is happening today is that you wait until you conduct your investigation before you now bring people to the press to start talking about. And again, saying that they'll conduct the internal review, and after the press must have finished, that there will be no action. No, US will not forget this kind of issue. It's already there. Nobody can kill this case any longer. We may not talk about it again, but the fact remains that the request is going to be there. If it is impossible for the man to be arrested and sent, then the issue of extradition will now come in. For now, they are not talking about extradition yet. They're just asking that this man should be arrested and be sent to the US. So, but what I would suggest is not for the police to carry out internal review. It's not satisfactory to say. You have the police leadership. This man, in 2019, go and see the press. The Amnesty International, National Human Rights Commission, this is a commission of a federal government. They complain about extra judicial measures taken by the intelligence response team and the special anti-rape squad. What happened? Nothing. But this is a case that if you go through that process, they mention it there. This is a case that will not go down. I would have loved a situation where you have Department of State Service, that is DSS, and because they talk about, they look into security issues in Nigeria, and National Intelligence Agency, so that the two organizations will carry out this kind of investigation to determine the culpability of Abba Kyari before they now make recommendation to the Attorney General, who will now decide in concert with others whether this man should be taken out of the country. But then when you now talk about internal review by the police, you're talking about the policeman being investigated by the police. I mean, what are we talking about? It's charade.
Maybe they want to, on their own part, check and be very certain that their officers, who according to them is their own, is guilty or not.
Yes, no, nobody says he is guilty. Please, let us not.
No, the police want to check.
But what we are saying is this. You need to, what I need to tell Nigerian police is that they should take that dossier, that docket, and take it to Nigerian training school or Nigerian Police Force training school to see how investigation is conducted professionally, meticulously, and how the investigation is written out. If you look at what the man is saying, we are lucky. Do you know why we are lucky? If they have now put Abba Kyari as conspirator 7 or 8, without mentioning his name, and he travels to US or Europe, he will have been arrested. Just like the gentleman, the man that supposed to be the assistant to Ogun State governor, was arrested. He will have been taken. And then they will now unseal this document. But somehow along the line, I don't know what happened, the FBI released the name. Otherwise, they will just put conspirator 4, conspirator 5. They will not name anybody. They will wait for him because he has a US visa. He applied for a US visa in 2019. And they mentioned that the telephone number he used in that application is the same telephone number that he contacted Hush Puppy. And the same photograph he used in this application is the one that is in his office. So they have all these facts with them. But I'm surprised, and that's what I'm saying, that it doesn't seem that the man is that smart. That you will now be the intelligence response team, and you now allow yourself to be dictated up to. So that's why that maybe we should give him the benefit of that. Let us not throw him under the bus.
But
yet.
somehow also the fear that some persons have is when issues like this come up here, some persons should he be taken now to the US, which is the request we are having here, that from their own system, it may be a complex puzzle for him to enjoy the kind of liberty, legal liberty he would have enjoyed here.
No, what we should be concerned about is whether he's going to receive fair trial. I think to a large extent, we have seen that even in the US, to a large extent, there is no doubt that judiciary is independent. So I guess that is what they will be emphasizing. That, of course, don't forget, a governor in this country, the BFCC pursued him to the extent of taking him to this and that. It was only when he went abroad that he was convicted. And what happened? So this case is unfortunate because we are talking about will he receive fair trial? But then when we get to the bridge, then we'll be able to cross it. We are talking about FBI. We need collaboration. We need cooperation of countries like US, UK. And if any of their institution is saying, we need your man to come and help us unravel a particular case, so we need to take it seriously. We're not saying that the man is guilty yet. No. but we need to take it seriously. Don't forget that it's the same US that is sending 4.8 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to us today. So we need US. And the collaboration between FBI and police is very, very important for our own security, internal security, and the fight against banditry, the fight against terrorism. So it's important.
Okay, now, why we can't say, why we are still insisting that Abba Kyari for now is not guilty, he's still innocent, whatever, until proven guilty here. People during conversation had raised several facts that an issue like this bring to fore issues that have been in public discourse about the proximity or the closeness or the affinity between police personnel, top, junior, with criminals, that they have always been very close.
Mr. Tai,
that the police knows every armed robber in every community.
Yeah.
You know,
it used to be.
It used heard that all through the
it used to be that like that.
I mean, even during Anini, the Babangida had to tell the police IG, give me my Anini. Go and bring Anini for me. And the police
Mr. Tai, you are very right. Even in the story we heard from our own grandparents, our parents, that in those good old days now, I mean in course now, that the local police, the Lokpa, they know everybody in the locality. They know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if anybody comes to town, they know who the stranger is. So, but you know what happened? Why I'm saying this gentleman is unfortunate to say it again, that he said that there's no code of conduct in the police, or the training is faulty, or the man is not smart, or maybe they need to do a psychoanalysis of the man, or all of the above. In the sense that it has always been a problem in Nigeria. And this is something you have just referred to now, using police to settle score. If not because the hush puppy tried to use or actually used this gentleman to settle score against Chibuzo, he wouldn't be in this kind of problem. He only asked the man that, okay, this man is trying to, put me aside in this my deal. I want you to help me deal with him. And the man, from what they are saying, is that the first job, anti-SARS, I mean special robbery squad, the intelligence report, it has nothing doing with fraud at all. So he has no business arresting the man, not to talk of you put him in prison or in jail, in cell for 1 month until the man now say, oh, okay, I'm satisfied, release him. That is their own side, and that's why they're waiting for him to give him that. But you are very right. If not, people have been accusing police that they do extra things. Use police to settle scores. Even when you have problem, with your girlfriend, land disputes, and all those things that they have no business doing that. And several IGs have come to say, well, no, police have no business doing that. But this particular case is as a result of the police being used to settle scores against a private Nigerian. That is unfortunate, and that is why it is really sad that somebody of that caliber will allow himself to be used. Perhaps that's what we are saying. They need to now revise or put in place code of conduct, because you cannot have a situation where somebody will be doing this over the years. The fact that he gained double promotion and it was not even observed, it was not detected. I doubt if this could have happened in the military, when you have an institution in place to check excesses of of military people, or in the intelligence circle or in the security circle. That is why people are saying that the police, you need. And don't forget again, I was reading in one of the papers that the concern of the president, the current president, President Muhammadu Buhari, was that the police and the judiciary, they are the ones giving him a lot of concern. That if you are able to solve the problem of the judiciary and the police, Nigeria will be a better place. And the president will have very little to do in terms of security and good governance. So this is just a demonstration. And nothing has happened. So what you need to do is to have an oversight now. This is the question of who guides the guardian. You can't leave police issues in the hands of Police Service Commission. They employ, they promote, they determine, and they discipline. No.
And most of them are even former policemen.
Former policemen. So how can you now get? They have interest. So you need a separate entity. Somebody like will do like oversight general that will be there. He will be so independent that he will call for a file and they'll be able to answer him. Every department, and that's what they have in the US. Even in the FBI, even the Department of Justice, they have what they call Inspector General. Don't forget, when President Trump was there, he had reason to fight with some of the Inspector Generals of some of the departments, because they are very independent, because they have the backing of the Congress. So if you have something like that here, then you'll be able to talk about, because they have been talking about extrajudicial killings, people talking about NSAS. If not because of the NSAS in Lagos, in October last year, people will still have been taken out of the street and then be taken somewhere. And somebody like Shibuzo will still be somewhere else. People have been talking about it. It's not today. When you put service commission and then you have retired police there, and retired policeman as the chairman, you have IG. So what do you think? You cannot get an independent resource. It's an unfortunate situation.
Okay, now just as we go on and wrapping this interview segment now, when we bring all of these, are you saying this as a point of caution to our policemen, or are we going to be having the system going the way it has always been?
No, it's not going to continue this way. They will likely now take note of the fact that there's somebody there, perhaps somebody bigger than what we have, that can come in. And they are able to take this Oshpapi's computer, his phones, and so they have more information. They have more names of people this man must have been talking to, perhaps in the military and the police and everywhere. So maybe they are still coming after some people we don't even know. So it's good that we learn from this and put measures in place, knowing fully well that we are not having a good system, and that's just it.
What about in terms of the police, what do you call it now, how police relates with civilian when it comes to the issue of information classification? Because most times it appears most time when you even see what happened around, you see police arrest somebody and all the policemen most times use their phone to record the criminal they are interrogating, and it's all online.
That's still part of what you talk about, professionalism. They need to do more. And it goes beyond trying to say we want to arrest people. The culture must be there. Presently, Nigerians, now let us know the way we talk. Nigerians detest police. Nigerians detest police. And perhaps for a reason, they are not satisfied with what they are getting. But police is very, very important in internal security in any country. But when you have a situation where you have doubts whether the police can actually be the umpire without being biased, then you have a police that will say they are not adequately funded, police that the technology is archaic, that they don't have enough policemen to police the society. It's difficult. But of course, we hope with recently, the National Assembly approved a supplementary budget for the police, for the armed forces and the security. So let's hope that gradually what has been missing they will get, and then they will be able to improve on it. But it's not going to be a day's job. It's going to take some time. It's still work in progress. But the leadership is important. But it's unfortunate that the current IG, this is likely to define his tenure. Very unfortunate. It's going to define his tenure, the way he responds to it.
Maybe fortunate also.
Maybe fortunate. Maybe fortunate they'll be able to take action.
And let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, Mr. Wale Oloko. Very vast, very in-depth here, very passionate, not just with the badge of the country's flag on his chest, but also with the words and the diction he used while speaking during this interview segment. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Watch an unfolding drama. We'll follow it and see how it goes. We'll take a break. When we return from the break, the program This Morning on ITV will continue.